Thank you very much for honoring this invitation, Beats Media. Thank you for the question. The main inspiration, or before I get to that, I'm called Solange, and I'm a quality control consultant, and I'm also the co-founder and community manager of Kids Hall of Talent Fund. Introduce ourselves so that we can get to relate to each other while we're talking. So I started, and to my left,
I am Elijah Benoit Luben, and I'm actually staff of SB.
Sorry, moi c'est Squeeze, artiste mais aussi partenaire à la maison SB.
brief introduction, sir. It's alright, just introduce yourself.
Okay, good afternoon everybody. I'm Bongata Zakius, and I'm public relations for SB. Thank you and welcome.
Okay. Next, I think.
I'm Binola Celestine.
Explain and clarify certain issues. And to remind you all that today the event is the official launch of Soulmates Biznes Empire, SB for short, which is a quality control consultancy structure located here in Douala, in Aqua, Repo. So we're opening our doors today officially to the public. So if there's anything you'd like to know more about that, apart from the fact that it's a quality management consultancy firm, a partnership, and then I'm willing to answer the questions that maybe you guys have. Good question, and just like I said in the introduction, Soulmates Biznes Empire is a partnership business. So we have partners who offer other services. We're now offering the branding arm. We have also the artist management and community management arm. And also we offer charity services. So talking about charity services, just to say that we have a way of giving back to the society. Yeah. Thank you too. So Soulmates Biznes Empire is a partnership of 4 arms, and it's open to expansion. Yeah, so the principal activity is quality management consultancy, which basically acts on all of the arms. We're going to find out as we discuss further about what quality management consultancy is about, and we'll understand that quality management consultancy is something that is inevitable in every domain of business. So if you look, you have flyers to yes.
Short enough to a lot of things. What's the correlation between business consultancy and entertainment and charity? Because it seems very confusing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Munang. I was actually expecting that question. Like I earlier mentioned, quality management consultancy acts on nearly every domain of business. So when we talk about entertainment, for example, first and foremost, SB Limited or Soulmates Biznes Empire is a partnership. So there's a partner who is handling the arm that has to do with entertainment. Yes. So that's the first fact that I would like you to know about. And then apart from that, quality management consultancy, the main service that I offer as yes. So what I do is, when it comes to the entertainment industry, for example, we can place the entertainment industry under a service value company. What I mean by service value is we have companies that produce which come up with products like this we have here, the water we have here, and we have companies which offer services. For example, Munang Consultancy, you don't have a product that you sell, for example. So we're looking at the entertainment industry as a service value production company. Yes. So when it comes to entertainment, we have, as a quality control consultancy firm, we have a set of procedures that we have to establish and maybe establish it into the system of the entertainment to make sure that they carry out their own activities in a way that is going to render quality service. Yes, for example, if we have an artist in the entertainment industry that we manage, for example, we handle all the activities that has to do with his domain in such a way that the procedures are well clarified and stated, in such a way that he has to come out with quality music. It's because all the finality is all about bringing out quality something for the consumers to consume and appreciate.
Okay, madam. We know that international.
Because many people have the notion that quality, when it comes to quality control and all that, it's really expensive, and particularly young industries which are still beginning are really scared of venturing into something like that. But first and foremost, our quality management services here in Cameroon, since we are kind of specializing in Cameroon first, we are trying to set the base. If you're a young startup, you don't have money to start, we like to tell you that what we do is, we just want to educate you first of all, for you to know that there's a certification that you can aim at having. Like, you should have that as a vision, that okay, in the long run I'm going to get certified. It's not an immediate something. So what we do to a startup, they're just the basics. Like, for example, employee training on basic quality control procedures or quality control systems. Like, for example, we could train, in a typical food industry, we could train employees on good hygienic practices, good manufacturing practices. Those are things that, I mean, a startup can handle. You can pay a trainer to just do a training session, and that's the beginning. It's all about taking the first step. And quality is not really expensive, because if you look at the cost of non-quality, at the end you see that the cost of non-quality is higher than the cost of quality. Because if you, for example, you're producing this bottle of water, if at the end you don't follow up if you don't assure quality, that you don't follow up all the quality measures, at the end you have a defaulty product. For example, you can produce a batch of this having like millions of bottles, and there's a fault there where if it goes out and maybe a quality personnel finds out, or maybe a customer buys it and finds out that it's not within standard, your company can really pay high for that. It can even lead to you shutting up the company. So the cost of non-quality has always proven to be very, very expensive.
The company has actually monopolized the keyword quality control management in Cameroon. Do you have a digital marketing team already? And if yes, what advice do you give to a young startup that you're going to work with as far as digital marketing is concerned?
First of all, I really appreciate you, Mr. Monang, for doing your research, and that's why you're bombarding me with questions here. Okay, you talked about marketing. The advice, you were asking about the advice that I would give a young marketing. Like, just you've already started, like the advice I'll give somebody who is to handle the marketing department is to do a lot of research, because quality management or the quality concept in general is something that really changes. It's very dynamic. For example, if we talk about a certification, there's a certification called ISO 9000. Yes. It has so many versions. There's an ISO 9000 of 2005. There's an ISO 9000 of 2008, 2015. So it changes. So if you're a marketer in the quality management department, you really have to do a lot of research, and very frequently too. Yeah.
I don't know another question also to add with it. We talk of quality management, but I'm not seeing anything like a policy set somewhere that is indicating the activities you're carrying. That is the objectives, the smart objectives to complete the mission you are up to.
Okay. if you read, I advised us to check on the website before coming, because we made sure that, excuse me, we stated our objectives very clearly and our vision. To begin with, the vision that we have is to, first of all, we have really separated our visions. We have a vision where we are aiming at certifying our own structure. We are a newbie. So our vision 2021 is to get an international certification, 9001 for our structure. And our vision 2030 is to have, because what we are doing, our structure is an open structure. We are mobilizing businesses, bringing businesses together and then imparting in them the quality concept. So our vision 2030 is to have brought together 30 plus businesses. Yes. So when we talk about the mission now, the main mission is to identify and accompany businesses and then work with them to help them grow, and then using quality management consultancy as the main aspect that's helping them to produce quality products and services. That's the mission. So if we were to break down the mission, we would say that what we would be doing is to, first of all, to identify these companies, and then we train the employees on various aspects that relate to them. For example, our food industries will be training the employees on good hygienic practices and good manufacturing practices. When it comes to the value service companies, we'll be talking about, the service value company, we'll be talking about training employees on good customer service. Yes, good customer. That is very important, especially in Cameroon, because you bear with me that we are yet to begin when it comes to customer relationship. You know, you have somebody in your company who does not really treat your customers well. So that's the mission would be to first of all educate the public, because we realize that many people don't know their rights, the consumer rights. Yes, that's the term. Consumer rights, like, for example, if you go get a product from the market which is not, you use maybe, I don't know how much they sell this, maybe 200 francs to buy this, and you find out that there is something inside which is not supposed to be inside, and you just say, oh, it's just 200, let me leave that. I mean, there's something you can do. What if you bought a whole batch, like a large quantity to sell? What do you do at that level? Or what, do you go back there? Or have you gone there and then they didn't treat you well? What do you do after that? So we went to be educating the public about basic consumer rights. And then also the business owners or entrepreneurs, those are our primary customers. We're going to be educating them. We call them CEOs. They like the name CEO a lot. So we're going to be educating CEOs too, or entrepreneurs, business owners, whatever you call it. We'll be training them or we'll be educating them on the importance of quality management systems. Yes, like how important is a certification to your company. Because if we don't do that first before even beginning, we will not be able to help them. Yes, because one important aspect when it comes to quality management consultancy is the commitment of the management commitment. So yes, if you have a company and the management is not committed, no matter what, if you have somebody who is handling the quality department, no matter what that person does, it's not going to move, because the management needs to sign a budget like, okay, this budget is for quality management consultant. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, do you have a particular criteria to pick them up, or they will have to come to you for the training, or how do you do it? Or they will need to be in a particular level in business before you go to them? Is there criteria to get to them?
Thank you very much, Miss
Joyce.
Ms. Joyce, One United Family. Thank you very much for that question. The major criterion we have, we're going to start with like pitching to them, maybe one-on-one or through conferences. This is a press conference, this is already pitching. We have CEOs here and business owners. So that is a way, that's the major criteria we'll be using, is to pitch. And there are other established companies which might not which might think they're already up there, and they might not really see the necessity to go after a quality control consultant to come to them. So in that situation, when we have time, we could once in a while visit them, visit them and propose the services to them. Yeah, so that's another criterion. So basically, it's either you come to us or we go to you. And if you want to come to us, you already know like where we are situated. It's in Aqua, Ripo. That's where we're situated here in Douala. And for now, we're just operating in Douala for now. Yeah. Let out that point, I got scared for a minute, like, what? Did we actually agree to do this? But since we established our structure, we've had 2 clients who are not based here in the country. Yes. So it's kind of from working with them that drove us into thinking about this. So talking about the particular type of people we're working with, we try to target just clients in the diaspora because that's where the motivation came from. Yes. So we work with them in the sense that, okay, if somebody, like we've worked with 2 clients, you want to open a new company here, you're not around, you don't know how to go about it. What if you open a company? It's really like there are virtual companies now, right? We saw a post that someone was talking about virtual companies, that you don't have to have an office. You don't have to have an office. So we've had 2 clients in that light. So we've got to work with them. We're working towards one of them to open the company. We're already setting up everything. So we're going to limit ourselves to, first of all, to clients who are not here, clients in diaspora. And was there any other main question I'm trying to figure out? Okay.
In other words, we who are here are counted out.
For now, for now, life is about priorities. We want to make sure that the ones that are already established, we start with them and educate them first, so that you that you've not yet established, you also benefit. You get the lesson before venturing into it, telling us that we should open your company and run it for you while you are in the country, because it's not going to really encourage you if we target people who are here already to open companies. We just have companies everywhere, and then it's not really helping the person grow. But yeah, in the diaspora, at least we understand that the main reason is because you're in the diaspora.
Just one more clarification.
Consultancy might not be able to, it might not fall within the niche, right? But a consultancy, a consultant, or a typical consultant, always knows somebody who knows somebody who does what they don't really do well or what they don't do. So if it's about helping, it's about helping people, then we should be able to help people, even to give them direction on aspects that we might not want to handle. Yes, yes. Because I have to let you know that there are a lot of things that this structure, Soulmates Biznes Empire, can handle, because it's an open structure. We're going to have more members coming in with different expertise. So basically, we don't know what we cannot handle for now, but these ones that we have stated here, I'm talking about the long run. Yes, we have our niche that we have really put the boundaries. But for now, the ones that we have stated, these are the main things that we're going to be handling.
You are from there.
It has its own certification, I think, certification ISO 14,000. 14,000. We also have 14,000, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So then when we talk about food companies, food industries, we talk about ISO 9001, it still concerns them. We talk about ISO 22,000, it still concerns food. And then for service value companies, we just talk about ISO 9001, 9000 series. Yes. So it's a lot. It's a lot. So we're just limiting ourselves now to food, service, and products.
Okay. Now it's just a very
I think you're going to pay a consultancy fee now.
Maybe you don't need to explain everything.
Right? Okay.
You don't need to explain everything. I just want to have an idea.
Okay.
You don't need to explain everything. I just want to have an idea on how, if actually maybe I I didn't go to school, for instance, just a mother by the roadside where she produces food yogurt and she tries to have the idea of packaging it in bottles. And now you want to talk to her, making her understand your point and what she needs to do. I just want a brief explanation.
Okay, the skeleton, let me give you a skeletal answer to that. The first thing I would tell the mother on the road is, okay, this yogurt you're producing is very, it's a very fragile, like when it comes to the health of the consumer. It can really harm the consumer if you don't come to me to help you. It's going to help, because it's going to harm the consumer, and the consumer might have running stomach, and the people can even die from consuming, from drinking your yogurt. That's what I'll tell the grandmother on the road. Like, okay, come to me, and I'll try to explain to you. I'll tell you first of all that the people that are working with you, yes, your personnel, yes, you need to let them know that the water they're using, the milk they are using, the environment in which they are doing the thing. What else? Yeah, basically we have 5 main aspects that the mother needs to think of. So first thing, the people you're working with, okay, the dressing, the way the people are dressed, yes. So all that, you cannot go with, if you have your worker who has hair like mine and is mixing the yogurt, and no, I'll tell the mom, like, that's one of the things. So basically I will just advise her, like, since you're starting off with this yogurt, bring me in. I'll just come and do something and go. Don't worry, you don't have to pay me every month. You just pay me one time, I come and do something and I go. Yeah. Yes.
Well, you made mention of the consultancy. Yes, the reason is taking me to consultant because in Cameroon, most companies don't go in for consultants. That is generally the issue. Most companies in Cameroon don't go. So do you think we need consultants in Cameroon? Because somebody prefer to employ someone that can do the job for him. I know he has a regular monthly pay he gives a person, and maybe to take someone that will come and do a crucial job and give someone, the person will think, and let me say, a huge amount of money. So do you think we need consultants?
Okay, thank you very much, Lena. Okay, I've got that one. Miss Lena, thank you very much for that question. It's true that being a consultant in Cameroon, I mean, I have my big brothers behind there, Mr. Jason and Mr. Azimi. Being a consultant in Cameroon is not easy. It's not an easy task, but I have 2 main points that I always like to point out when I'm pitching or when I'm trying to help somebody, a business owner, with my services. The first thing I always tell them is, consultants are the cheaper option. It's not like, what I mean by the cheaper option is, even if you have a company, a startup, this is particularly for startups, I like to point out, it's particularly for startups. You're starting up a yogurt, for example, I'll take her own example. She's starting up a yogurt small place. She doesn't really need to go and hire a quality manager to come sit there every day and be looking at people and doing things, and then I pay you every month. Because first of all, to pay a quality control manager, it's not easy. It's not easy. So that's why the consultant, that's why I even took upon myself to go independent as a consultant, because to pay a quality manager is not an easy task. So the consultant is the cheaper option, because the consultant, for a startup like yours, a consultant will just step in and do the job and go out. Might come again maybe after 3 months, because the consultant will go out, give you some rules and some directions on how to handle and maintain the system that he or she has put in place. And then you go and then come again. So you just have to pay. If the person has to come and train, if he or she has identified that the fault there is the employees and they have to train the employees, you just come and train a training session. You just pay for the training session, and he goes, and then he comes back now just to evaluate to see if actually things are going on. Yeah, so the consultant is a cheaper option. And even for established companies, like these big companies that produce juice, and for them, they already have quality managers. Yes. They believe that up there, some of them already are certified. They know, okay, they're there, and they don't even want to continue, maybe continuous improvement of the certificate they have had. They're just okay with it. But one thing I always like to call that there's the second aspect. So apart from the finance aspect, the second aspect is, I like to call it the August guest or the August visitor. When we talk about August guest, it's somebody who just comes and goes. Like I've explained with the finance points up that we discussed earlier. When we talk about the August guest, is if you have these big companies that already have their quality manager, that quality manager is so used to like the environment, like so used to the workers. Maybe the workers are always working without tying their hair, or they're using their rings on their fingers, and they're mixing stuff. And there are faults around, like maybe there are cobwebs around, or maybe there are just aspects around that the person is a bit maybe comfortable with it. Even you in your house, when you're living in your house, there are some angles that maybe when you're cleaning, you don't really reach there. Maybe if you have somebody who comes, somebody comes once in a while and just wants to clean, you realize that the person has already gone to that angle that you didn't go to. Not because you don't know how to clean, but because you didn't see it easier than the person that, you wouldn't see it easier than the person that comes and goes. We all agree to that. Yeah, so that's the main thing that consultants rely on, and that's the main thing that in particular quality control or quality management consultants rely on. The August guest will always find or identify faults in your system faster, easier, and cheaper than your own quality manager who is among your staff, who is the person in the house. And that person in the house, you pay the person every month, and then there is no improvement in the quality system. It's just stagnant. You're just contented. The person gets up and just checks, sees the same people smile, and you're just used to the colleagues. And you see somebody doing something wrong, you might, no, this is already my friend. No, let me not really discipline the person. Let me just go. After all, black man they died. I forgot about machine. Yeah, so machine is one of the aspects that we need to take care of when we're doing maybe a quality control audit, a quality management audit. So I didn't want to mention machine because, I mean, with the yogurt, do we really need machine?
We need it because there's one company located.
Okay, I'm talking about my grandmother on the road. Yeah, she was talking about. Okay, but
because I've gone in a big company.
Yes, that's true.
Northwest, precisely at Banso, where they're producing yogurt.
True.
Yeah, and there are so many machines located.
Yeah, that's true.
So
So yeah, thank you. So that is just to say that machine is one of the aspects, apart from the ones that I mentioned earlier. Machine. So there is a way when we come, if we're doing auditing, we check those 5 aspects. We have our ranking, our checklist ranking. If the checklist ranking shows that machine is the highest, is where the highest contamination comes from, and then we're going to rank our corrective measures in such a way that we start by handling the machine aspect. If we find out that the contamination comes from the manpower, we're going to rank our corrective measures in such a way that the corrective actions start from the training of the employees. So machine is involved. Even though I'm not the one who is to go and fix the machine, like arrange, but once we identify like this is it, the percentage of the machine is okay, 70%. I see the business owner, I'm like, okay, your machine is causing quality faults and you need to fix it. Okay, I can, since I'm a consultant, I actually know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody who does the machine. So I can recommend, and I say, oh, if you have an internal person who works on the machine, I'm like, okay, I've done my job to identify the fault. So now if you have your machine person, the person comes and fixes it. I could also establish procedures on how that person needs to fix it to make sure that the same fault doesn't come in. So if the person follows the procedures, and then I come back now to do the evaluation to see if what that person did has an effect on the quality of the product. Like, I see improve the quality of the product or not. Yes.
So you have standard. You have a relation with the government, like the legal, respecting the legal standard. If somebody is not respecting, And if the government come in now to put a fine on that person, and you are the person that is controlling the quality of those machines and the food, how will you help the person to go with?
Okay, talking about the government, I don't know if the government always comes
But for
around.
somebody having a company, the government must be.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
The main people that we're looking up to, like we talked about, you going to a company and expecting that that management commitment. So as we are starting this structure, we're expecting that the commitment we're going to have the commitment from the government. So we're looking up to the government, and there are other structures like the ANO who already are doing something like that. So that's the first person we're looking up. That's the first structure we're looking up to work hand in glove with them in such a way that they act now as our national certification. Like if we start with the yogurt company and it's moving gradually up, and we have to see ANO and say, okay, these people, we've been working with them, what can we do? ANO could come now and audit and see how they can approve their own national certification first before we even step up to international. So it's a long way to go, and we're looking up to the government.
So, madam, you mean, and you mean you can only do internal auditing, you can't do external? Because if you are talking of ANO is like acting to you like an external auditor to come and audit what the type of the process you are carrying.
No, please come again with the question.
You mean you are talking of ANO, you are giving ANO as your example, and then you relate it to auditing. Then in that case, I'm reasoning like you are taking ANO as your external auditor to come and audit what you are doing.
Okay, that's a good question. Quality management consultants or quality management cabinet, they always click. We are kind of not competitors. Yes. If you look well, we're like humanitarians. You know, humanitarians click. You're doing this aspect, I'm doing this aspect. But there's time that we're going to work together. So when I talk about looking up to them, it's like when you do something, it's still talking about the August guest rule. I mean, I can't. Okay, like when we visit a company, we have a process, and it's a set of procedures that we follow. And when we get into a company, we first of all identify the problem. And that process of identification of the problem, that is the finality, that's the identification of the problem is the finality of our auditing process. So when we go to audit, in quality management jargon, auditing means the process of checking to see if there is a fault or not. So the finality is either problems identified. So when we visit, we have our checklist. For example, if we're auditing a food company, we have the checklist with respect to the type of certification that the food company wants to have. We have a checklist. We audit now to see if at the end we have a high percentage of this type of fault, then we know we've identified our problem. Okay, then if we identify the problem now and it has to do with the personnel, like I was talking about, the 5 M's, that's what we call it. If we talk about the personnel now, it needs that we should train the personnel, then we have to take that as priority to train the employees. If it happens that what we need is the machine, like he said, if what we need is the machine, then we have to work on the machines first. Because normally what happens is there's always faults everywhere, but we have to hierarchize now to see which one, so that if the budget runs short, we know at least we've done 80% of the problems identified. 80% of the problem is acceptable. Yes, we're not perfectionists. We don't want to come and ride on a white horse and finish your budget. We know that companies work on a budget, and we're always aiming at an 80%. Yes, to that's 80% of correction of the problems identified. Yes. Okay, then the traveling. It's true. I'd like to apologize that the partner who is handling the traveling couldn't make it here today. He's in the country. And everybody that has to come into the the Soulmates Biznes Empire. There's a connection. We work with each other. You know, that's why we call it Soulmates Biznes Empire, because it has a group of people who come together, who have a main thing that brings them together. Like the definition of soulmates, I don't know, everybody have their own definition of soulmate, but that's the one we based on. Like we have a main thing in common, and it's going to play on all of us that are in the business system, which is the quality of the product or the service that we'll be giving out.
I'm sorry, madam, I don't know where we are because you said you are still introducing, so I don't know. We have been talking and talking. We don't know now where we are already, whether we are already following the real time or we are still discussing to start beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, you want to answer that?
Going.
No, we need somebody to answer the question that you asked. Are we in the?
We are in it because you said we should ask you questions.
Yes.
So the questions entail the whole thing on the flyer, the different parts, I guess.
And the questions that you must have found out on the website, or the ones that I anticipated with my team and sent to you before.
And I have one other question. You made mention of like you're not competing with other consultant agencies. So what makes you so sure, or what will make you a difference with other consultant agencies for someone to come up to you for help? Then the next question was on management and promotion. You say community.
Only competing with ourselves. There's no competition. Okay, why I'm saying this, or why I'm so sure, is because there's this aspect now that many business creators or business owners, they have now, which is they are focusing on the branding aspect. Everybody wants to branding. Everybody wants to print their logos everywhere and put everywhere. Like, it's just, they're doing it like, the way we see it is, they're doing it from the top. You know, when you're doing something, you have to start like from the base before you go to the top. You can't stop from the top. You can start from the top and then you go to the base. Yes, so that's what is happening now. So we want to reverse that. That's why our tagline is your business brand, or you can be your business brand through our affordable quality management certification services. So when you focus on the quality aspect, it automatically plays on your brand. Because what's branding to me? To me, branding is not about taking your logos and putting everywhere. Branding is about what people say about you, or what the customers say about you. Because a certified customer will go and tell somebody that, okay, this thing is good, you should try this. You don't even have to do any publicity. Okay, so that's what we're trying to do, to reverse that, to make sure that companies focus on the service, the quality of the service or the product they are letting out in such a way that it automatically plays on their brand. So if you're coming to us to pay for our services in that aspect, and then you're automatically branding yourself. That's why, like, okay, affordable. That's why we are like, okay, it's built in our quality management services. So that's why branding too comes into play, like one of the services that we offer. And technically, it's even for free. Like, if you start with the quality management first, then the branding is technically free. Yeah. And then we're talking about, is that answer?
Yeah, it's answered.
Then we're talking about, I think, let me finish with that. You asked about something. Okay. Okay. Community management service offered for members. It's obvious. Members, partners are those who run the arms of the company. Members are those who are our clients that we've worked with. Yes. So when we work with a particular company, you're like a member. Yes, there's a membership procedure. There's a membership procedure to follow in such a way that if you want to go deep to maybe even owning a share, etc., it's very possible. And when that happens now, community management, what we mean by community management here is like what he does, online marketing, maybe handling the brand, that's the brand representation online, or the online voice, the brand voice, etc., brand ambassador, whatever you call it. So it's free. It's going to be free when you're a member. So, because we do this for those who are not member, like we have the partner handling the artist management, artist, music and all that. They do it, but they charge for those who just want to come and go. Those are just passing. But if we're working with a structure, and what I'm talking about, like what he does is, he does mostly with individuals, like artists who come to him. They don't have companies, they're just artists. They just want a brand voice online. So in that situation, I do, talking about quality management consultancy, we work mostly with structures more than we work with individuals. So when we start working with them now, okay, we propose like, okay, you can be a member and this is how it works. You can even, yes. Biznes Empire, our vision 2021 is to get certified.
I got that. I just want to know if stating it here is for Soulmate or for other businesses that are
okay, no, it's for other businesses.
So you can train other businesses to get certified, but you are not yet certified.
We are on the process of doing that.
Okay.
Because I earlier mentioned that what we are doing here is we are walking companies towards certification, and it has a lot of aspects. Like with the mother who is doing yoga on the road, that mother might not know, but the vision is to have that certification, to have that recognition. I mean, there are a lot of people doing yogurt. So in order to thrive above your competitors, you need to keep advancing. So we will not go and tell that mother that, okay, let's certify you. Even if we are certified, we will start from the base. So as we are going along, that's what we said, we want to, our vision 2030 is to bring together 30 plus companies. I don't know if that's clear, but
actually, where I work, we are actually in the process of getting certified as well.
Okay.
So that is why.
Where do you work?
No, it's a maritime company.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know, maritime, ship safety and so on, it's very important.
Okay.
So when I saw this line, in fact, the whole idea of Soulmates is quality. And I think that the primary objective of Soulmate is to get to be ISO 9001 certified. Exactly. That is issue. It's not even if it is. For me, it should be a vision 2020, not even 2021, because it is. If we are sitting here, I should say that I was from a press conference with a company that is 9001, because that is what will bring you more business. Yeah. You understand? It is that certification, that international certification, that we all know that. In fact, I can also bring business, but then knowing that you are still on the way, because it's not an easy task. You know that for you to set all the documentation, you are where you work, or your strategies and so on. It's a whole process that if you are in the process of doing it for your company, it's not going to be an easy job doing it for another external company. That's true. First of all, when we have identified a problem and we find out that it has to do with the employees and we have to train employees, what we do first of all is, it actually depends on where the company is. It depends on the kind of product that the company sends out. It depends on the machinery that the company has. Because what we can do is, when we get there, we audit the employees to see. Oh, pause, since he's the one. Okay, can I? All right, so like I was saying, if we have to train employees, we need to know how many employees are handling the machines. We need to know how many employees are handling the other aspects. So if we've identified, the first thing is, if we identify, we need to separate the employees to know that's if the problem identified is really pertinent. We have to know that, okay, for example, if we're training all the employees, it means we cannot join the employee who is handling the machinery with the employee who is doing what? The one who is taking care of the environment, the cleaner. We cannot give the same training to the cleaner as the machinery man. So is that that separation aspect now is going to play on the pricing. Yes, because it's 2 different training sessions, and it entails 2 different days, or maybe 2 different, that's double the time and so on. So it plays a lot.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. That's clear.
I'm clear on that.
All right. So what's the other question? Like I earlier mentioned, I am the co-founder and community manager of Kids Hall of Talents Foundation, and I am the CEO of Soulmates Biznes Empire. So one aspect of SB is the societal responsibility that we have, which is to give back to the society through charity, working with the less privileged, and so on. So the best, as the owner of an NGO, the best way we could do it, and based on my personal motivations while growing up, like my whole profile, I'm not going to narrate that, it's a long story. It's on the website. Yes. So based on that, that is where I got inspired to set up an NGO. Yes, that works with kids. So talking about Kids Hall of Talent Foundation, it has to do with identifying, nurturing, and developing and promoting talents in kids. Yes, that's what Kids Hall of Talent Foundation does. And it's based on my personal motivations that got me into involving myself with that. So now, when we talked about, together with my team, we talked about having a societal responsibility. It was obvious that we could go towards the NGO that we're closest to, which is Kids Hall of Talent Foundation. And the mission and the vision of Kids Hall of Talent Foundation is in line with what SB is doing, because, I mean, if we're talking about building a Cameroon which is like a certified Cameroon, a Cameroon which is of standard, yes, then we're talking about starting from the base. We're talking about starting from the youth, So what we're going to be doing, apart from supporting the other missions and visions that Kids Hall of Talent Foundation has that might not tie with our own, we would do the ones that actually really tie with us, and we accompany them, maybe financing, because our budget is kind of divided in such a way that we've budgeted for charity. So we're going to, for example, train kids on the basic aspects that we're trying to learn here. We have a country now that wants employees to have 10 years working experience while they are 26 years old. 10 years. It means you started working at 16. 16 is a bit much. At times you go your 22 years, they want you to have 10 years of experience. I mean, so we're trying to move ahead. We want to build up, we want to encourage the idea of kid entrepreneurs, like youth entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, in such a way that if a kid starts and that kid is 8 years old offering a particular service, like we have this young designer who is just 12 years old. She started while she was maybe 6. So, I mean, if she has evidence that she started at 6, that's adding to her experience. By the time she reaches 20, she will be having 14 years of working experience. So we're just trying to, use our skills and resources to help those who cannot really help themselves, So that's what we're trying to do here at Soulmates Biznes Empire as our societal responsibility. Business branding is built into our affordable quality control certification services. That's just our brand promise to.
Maybe that's where it can be, because if it is a value proposition and it needs to be certified.
Certified?
Yes.
Okay, like the certification services.
Yes.
All right. But when we talk about quality control certification services, I want people to actually look at the certification services as a set of procedures, or a set of processes. There's a bigger process and then there are sub-processes. To get to those certification services, that is the finality, we have sub-processes. We call it sub-process, which has to do now with, first of all, the base, employee training. It has to do with establishment of standard operation procedures. It has to do with this and that, this and that. So that's like the process of leading us to that process of certification. I don't know if we're aiming so high, but that's what it is. That's what we mean by your business branding is built into our affordable quality control certification services. So we are reversing the idea of branding, starting with branding before going to the base, instead of starting with from the base before going up. Yes, that's the new thing.
Which means the main different thing is that Soulmates offer employee training, which is what makes you stand out.
Not employee training will be limiting us to just training employees.
We need to know all those points now. List them.
Okay, what we do?
Yes,
okay, first of all, what we do is we audit your system, because there's a situation where we can audit and you don't want us to continue. You can want to look for somebody else to continue. So auditing is part of what we do. Secondly, after auditing, after identifying, so at the end of the audit, we identify a problem, right? And then after that now, we implement the corrective measures. The corrective measures here might involve us training employees. Yes, it might involve us training employees first. It might involve us checking on the machines, right? It might, because all these aspects, these 5 aspects, employees, machine, environment, etc., they have sets of procedures that need to be established, and that's taking us now to the next thing that we'll be doing, which is to write and establish standard operation. We call it standard operation procedures. It has to do with a lot. Yes. And then after that, that's part of the corrective measures that we're doing. After that is done now, we have to do a post audit, because what we did in the beginning was a pre-audit. And when we do all that, we get the problems and we put the corrective measures, and then we come now again to do the post-audit. That's another service. Yes, because you can still get somebody else to do it. Yes, not just us. And then after that now, we have the evaluation. When we get the post-audit now, the evaluation gets now to help us to compare when we came in the beginning to what we have now, like to compare. For a quality management certification, I don't know whether you're talking about the clients that will be serving or us.
I mean you.
No, we are a service.
Okay.
Yes, and services we're going to be offering. And for services, we're going to have to certify ourselves with ISO 9001 series. Yes.
Still, as a service company, you need the certification. That's what I'm saying.
Because for a 9000, we need it.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying, that we're driving towards certifying ourselves in that.
It's like you think I'm attacking.
I
actually understand what you're saying. You see now, but I'm trying to link up and open up so to make you know that, just to add to what you're saying, that you can help companies get ISO 9001 certified. Yeah. And now, since you are getting involved into food and so on, environment. And
okay.
I
get it.
It's not just a quality management system that you're going in for. They're going, so you go in for 14,001, 22,000, 9,001, all integrated.
Okay.
Because that is what now will prove to many people coming to you for that consultancy that these people are up to the task. They are satisfied themselves, so they can drive us towards certification.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good clarification. Like I earlier mentioned, we'll be focusing on the service value companies and the product value companies. Yes, we're not going to really concentrate on environment, right? Yeah. So those 2 aspects, the certifications, those are the major certifications that we'll be talking about or we'll be working towards here at Soulmates Biznes Empire. So that's clear on that.
Ask a question now.
Yeah.
I learned that
you want to go out first, yes. And then we talked about tourism. There's a tourism aspect there.
Which means bringing people
coming in, yes. So when we talk about travel aid, our main what we handle is people going out, first of all. Yes. And then we have the tourism aspect, which we talked about offering other, because when you talk about traveling, you cannot just handle one and leave the rest. So we have the other aspect in the sense that we're going to know somebody who knows somebody who can link you up now to tourists who are coming in.
let me ask my question now.
Yeah.
I'm sure you understood. We should not be showing it. Okay.
Yes,
the whole idea of visa acquisition, because when we see travel aid, visa aid here, it doesn't differentiate whether you're bringing in people or you're sending out people. Let us consider that you are bringing in, let's say, expatriates, like a company like you offering travel aid. It means that probably a maritime company or a company dealing with expatriates can come to you and say, you will be our expatriate service agent. You give us visas, you provide us probably airport services, because that is still travel aid. So now is Soulmates ready to handle something like that now, or you are still planning to use a third-party company?
Soulmates is ready to handle that.
So Soulmates has agents for the visa acquisition in Yaoundé?
Yes, Soulmates is ready to handle that. Check over now what time it is. Time. I see the session is going on good. 2 o'clock, okay. So, is there any other important question that?
Sorry if I'm asking questions.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
The third aspect, the music business part, artist promotion and so on. I don't know if others have had an opportunity to listen to the person or Soulmate or the branch handling that, to give us an overview of what will be done, what has been put in place to handle something like that. Because music business is something even bigger than consultancy.
Bigger.
Yeah, so we need to know if it is a matter of getting other people to do it, partnering, or Soulmates or ESP are ready to handle that.
Okay. You just say something?
Yes. Okay, thank you, Mr. Papschi. Okay, talking about the music business. So we've realized that there are so many people that want to go into music and they don't know where to start. So they're kind of like, they want to be in that milieu, but they don't know the content that they want to come up with. So they just want to do music, and then if we don't take quality control, we don't take seriousness over it, they just bump into the studio with a beat and then just shout, you know. At the end of the day, they have music that doesn't have that quality. The sound is not good, the content is not good, the lyrics is not strong, and it's not helpful to the society. So coming in as artist management in the artist management system and the promotion. So we start from the concept, the case whereby anybody can do music at any level. Anybody sitting here can do music. So you come out with the kind of concept, with the kind of music that you want to bring in. So we look at the situation. For example, we want to talk about the political aspect of Cameroon. For now, artists come to us and they're like, yeah, we want to do music. How can we go about that? So it's from there now that we come up with the concept. We're like, okay, do you have previous songs? Which kind of song you want to do? Do you have previous songs that you've been doing already? Do you have content? Show us your lyrics. Let's understand. So we listen to it. If it's having that meaning, if it's having that quality that we're looking for, okay, then now we go in, we come in now, and then we're trying to like, okay, what is it all about? What's your content? What's your concept? So that's where we come in.
Maybe just to add, maybe just to chip in from the other person. Are you like saying you will get in partnership with whosoever is managing an artist, or you people are focused mostly with maybe guys who are still like trying to get into music?
Exactly. Thank you for that question. We are focused on guys who are trying to do music.
Okay.
Not only that, somebody who is already doing music can also come to us, and then you apply the same system, because they are established artists that later on they come out with a song that is not good enough. It has so many criticisms and all the like. So, but our primary aim was starting with guys who want to do music. So, starting from the base before we move to the top. So that's our idea. Yes.
The first question I'm going to ask you, and the second question is, what difference are you bringing into the quality control sector in Cameroon?
Thank you very much for honoring this invitation, BT Media. Thank you for the question. The main inspiration, before I get to that, I'm called Tingu Solange, and I'm a quality control consultant, and I'm also the co-founder and community manager of Kids Hall of Talent Foundation. So today we are having the official launch and press conference of my new business consultancy structure, a quality management consultancy structure called SB. And the main inspiration for this is based on my growing up and what I studied in school, and just observing the whole environment as a Cameroonian, talking about the quality aspect, is talking about maybe the food that we eat, the customer service that we receive, and everything else. That's all what quality control here is focusing on. And as the holder of a quality management certificate from the University of Uganda in Said, I have always wanted to go independent and have my own consultancy structure, because in the beginning, after graduating, I had to work with 1 or 2 companies on the same aspect, and there were a lot of challenges, and the main challenge was the fact that many companies are complaining of the high paycheck that quality control managers require. So the best corrective measure or the best solution was for me to go independent, because I found out that after my research, I found out that it's actually very cheaper to act as a consultant in this field, which is seemingly looking very expensive for particularly young companies which are just trying to grow and are also trying to elevate the quality of their products and services.
All right, so what's the quality control sector? We have other quality control sectors, or better still domains in or enterprises in Cameroon. So what is Soulmates Biznes Empire bringing on board?
Okay, the main thing we are bringing on board here is we're trying to reverse a traditional system that has already existed, that is going on now in Cameroon, in the industry, in the business industry. I don't want to specify at this level. So what people are trying to do now is they're trying to concentrate on branding. There's this new word called branding, where everybody just wants to use the media, or just want to have their logos everywhere, and they don't focus on the basics of what branding has to do. Because the basic of what branding is all about is quality management consultancy. So what we're trying to do is reverse that process. That's why our tagline is your business brand is built in our quality control certification services. We're managing it. So you might want to go and check some of his songs on YouTube and maybe see if it reaches 80%, because he seems to have very high, and we like that.
We also have Mr. Ice.
So that
no,
it will make us to 80.
All right, Mr. Fabs. Apart from him too, we also have, there's this Dubai-based artist, Mr. Ice. You've heard of him? You've seen, I'm sure you've seen. Yeah. So you might also want to go check him out. So apart from the kid, because he's a kid, and we don't want to even use that word kid again, because we're trying to make kids to be the same level when it comes to business-wise. And Mr. Fabs.
Sure.
So those three names I mentioned for now, those are the artists we are really mostly affiliated to. We have other ones we're just working with, but not really.
So affiliated, you signed them?
Talking about signing. Signing, Soulmates Biznes Empire. We may mention that when you start with us, we working with us, you become a member. The Dubai-based artist is a shareholder. Yes, he's a shareholder. He is a member. So we don't like to use the word sign.
There's a lot of drama when concerns artists.
Thank you.
And so on. So
yes.
I usually blow a lot of that, so I like to know how it started and so on.
Okay.
Then if you remember, and then tomorrow we hear that there's a breakup, now we'll start asking
Actually,
how can we never break up.
Okay, so let me clarify things. Street Biz, this is his management level. We don't do recording song, no. So he's not signed. He's a free agent. So if you have a recording studio, you like to sign him in that aspect, fine. But we're managing him. Yes. So Shootbiz might want to say something. You know, he came all the way from Limbe. He's coming from Limbe, so he's based in Limbe. He's here today for the press conference. So he might want to say something.
Bonsoir encore de nouveau. Ça fait vraiment plaisir d'être ici parmi vous. Comme l'a très bien dit Solange, Soulmates Business est le corps qui s'occupe du côté management de Streetbiz. Et Streetbiz travaille sous collaboration avec Good Boys Record, based in Limbe. Bon, j'ai pas trop à dire. Je peux juste vous dire, bon, pour le moment, je suis sur un projet. D'ici à là, vous serez informés à travers Soulmates Business.
Soulmates Biznes Empire.
Okay.
For the past years, like he's been with us for about 2 years now. So you might like to know how he feels being with Soulmates Biznes Empire. So,
but he's a member, so that word a member makes it he's no longer a client, but he's part of you. So he must have a positive review to give.
Okay. So can we hear your positive review? We don't even want negative. Do we want negative? Really? We don't want negative. Just real quick, just tell us how.
Bon, déjà 2 ans avec Soulmate, je peux dire que c'est du positif. Parce que Soulmate m'a permis à être, disons, à l'échelle seconde, où je n'étais pas. Soulmate m'a permis à